All right, guys, so draft. Every Knicks fan is talking about it. The Knicks, of course, ended up with either a 6th or 7th pick, 7th or 8th.
At least projected was.
Projected, yeah, and we don't know where that's going to end up. Of course, a couple years ago when we drafted KP, we were supposed to have the number 2 overall pick, but the lottery didn't work in our favor, and we ended up with Kristaps Porzingis, which I think we lucked out in that sense. I want to go through a couple of names here, a few names.
Wait, before we get into that, though,
What's
you
up?
mentioned that we have a projected 6th, 7th pick. I just want to clarify this. We do have the potential to get a top 3 pick, which is 21.5% chance, and we do have the potential to get the number 1 pick overall, which would be nice. Of course, all Knicks fans would love to get that, which the percentage is 6.3.
Yeah.
So not high.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
There's a chance. All right, so let's start here. If you guys follow us on Instagram at MadGood Knicks Show, we posted our top 10. That's what we're gonna go through right now. Not necessarily the NBA Draft's top 10, but what is the best fit for the Knicks? So across the board, it looks like Jonathan Isaac is kind of in the middle of the top 10. We projected him at our top. Points per game, 12. Rebounds, 7.8. 6'10 freshman from Florida.
Solid
Forward.
kid.
Yeah, solid overall. Maybe someone who could replace Melo if he ends up going.
Yeah, potentially. He's very reminiscent of Brandon Ingram in terms of like build and style wise. Not quite as gifted offensively, but he has similar game to him. He could get to the basket, he could shoot a little bit. He's long and rangy.
Yep, speaking of long and rangy, KP 2.0.
Markkanen.
Couple immature audience members here. Lauri Markkanen. So Arizona product, of course, foreign, which the Knicks love. We have a foreign obsession now. This kid is 7 feet tall and can shoot the 3.
Out of Finland.
7.2 rebounds, 15.6 points per game. And you know what? This could be a bench player for KP in his first 2 years.
Oh man.
I don't know where we would play him because we're packed at that position right now. If we're trying to build that franchise cornerstone in KP, I don't know if it's the right pick, but he's still a solid talent not to overlook.
I wouldn't do it, but it would be interesting to see both of them on the floor at the same time.
It would.
They have very similar games.
Yep. Now let's get to the more realistic draft range here for the Knicks, which is probably going to be middle of the pack, 8 through 6 or 5. Frank.
How do you say this?
Frank.
Ntilikina?
Let's go with that one. Frank. He plays out in Germany. He currently playing for Strasbourg. Point guard. Long arm length. Huge kid. Can play defense. He can guard the perimeter like no other, which seems right up the Knicks' alley. And of course, he's foreign.
I would say this kid is probably the best on-ball defender in the draft, hands down. I've watched some of his game footage, some of his highlights. He gets up in there. He's not going to let anybody just score on him, and that's something that the Knicks have needed for how long now? Ever, I would say. Having that drive, that will to, I don't want to get beat, on the defensive end. It's just somebody we need.
Malik Monk.
Ah, man, he shot up the draft charts.
Could you imagine if we were to keep Carmelo, having Courtney Lee, Malik Monk, Carmelo Anthony, and Kristaps Porzingis on a floor with a legitimate point guard?
That would be something.
That is solid. And this kid could play some defense as well. He also dropped 46 on Lonzo Ball in high school.
Just saying.
Fun fact.
He also held Lonzo Ball to 10 points.
That he did.
In the tournament, and
That he did.
NCAA tournament this past year.
De'Aaron Fox, Kentucky, held Lonzo Ball, or he helped hold Lonzo Ball to 10 points in that March Madness game. What can we say about this kid?
He's really impressive.
Where does he fit in with the Knicks, most important? Point guard, he can play.
A defensive-minded point guard. He's pretty athletic. He's a lefty, and he's very crafty. He displayed his floater
39
pretty often.
points in
Yeah,
semis, so.
It was no joke. Up until maybe, I guess, late first half, he was just dropping floaters right over Lonzo Ball's head. I like him. He's aggressive. He's excellent in transition, and he's a premier defender as well. Not quite as gifted as Frank, but he gets up in there all ball.
Dennis Smith Jr.
This is probably one of my favorites.
This is an interesting one. Right now, he's projected at 8. He's very likely could end up with the Knicks.
I love this.
This is one of the guys that's going to end up in the middle of the top 10. NC State. So he didn't play in the tournament.
No, they didn't make the tournament, but it wasn't his fault. he was dropping assists. He was dropping dimes out there, getting to the basket hard.
18 points, 4.6 rebounds, 6.2 assists. That's
no
all-around guard right there. 6'3", 195, strong kid.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a young Baron Davis. And I know we had Baron Davis for a short-term stint. He was later in there in years, but he reminds me of a young Baron Davis.
Josh Jackson, the quintessential, and the Knicks already called him the Melo replacement. They didn't quote that, but they said they want this kid if he's available.
Yeah, Phil said that he's willing to, I believe Phil said this, this is from, the sources, the anonymous sources that the Knicks so often have. But the Knicks were saying that even if a premier point guard is available and Josh Jackson is there, we're willing to overlook all of the point guards and just go after Josh Jackson, which I understand. I said to you, and we wrote this on our Instagram, that Josh Jackson is probably the best overall prospect in this draft. Offensive and defense, two-way threat. He's a great talent.
But you know what? Today's NBA is obsessed with point guards.
Very true.
Is it fit for forwards to succeed like they once could?
He's a once-in-a-decade type of talent. It's quite possible that he could be, when it's all said and done, the best player in this draft.
That's interesting you say that. I know you're a diehard Duke fan. Jason Tatum.
Another kid I like.
He's a solid kid, and it's easy to not oversee any of the talent that he brings. Almost become obsessed with him and raise his draft stock.
Well, absolutely. I think he's a possibility for us.
6'8" freshman, 16.8 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 2.1 assists. Of course, won that ACC title for Duke as well. Mm-hmm. Solid kid overall. Freshman, projected at 5th pick, and
his offensive game is
6'8", 205.
Oh yeah,
big kid, solid.
He's got all the range. Got 3 points, mid range. Got a pull up, jump shot, step back, turn around, fade away. He's got it all.
Let's talk about Lonzo Ball.
Must we talk about him? Can we talk about his dad? Can we talk about his dad real quick?
Let's get LeVar on the show quickly. Lonzo Ball, everyone's talked about him. We don't have to opine too much on this kid. It'd be great if the Knicks would have him. I question his toughness.
Do you know?
I do.
Mental toughness?
Mental.
Okay.
Mental toughness.
All right, that's understandable. He talks a big game. Not quite
the game
his dad
talks
does.
a
Yeah,
big
but he
game.
backs it up. Did he not say he was the best point guard in the draft?
He did, it was quoted somewhere.
So, but when it comes to play, we've seen him.
The Jason Kidd comparisons, they can't go unnoticed. He's a Jason Kidd that plays above the rim right now. True leader in the locker room. That's what got him so high up in that draft as well. But of course, he laid an egg in that NCAA elimination game. Markelle Fultz.
For much of the season,
number
he's
one
been projected
overall.
number one. Yeah, that's up for debate at this point. We don't know who's gonna have the number 1 overall pick. Like we said, it could be the Knicks, right?
6.1% chance.
We never know. But
23 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 5.9 assists. This kid is a fucking baller.
He's a beast.
He is, and on top of that, he plays point guard. So a point guard like that, this is what the NBA is now made for. A high-scoring, high-volume point guard that just makes his team better and does everything. A la Russell Westbrook.
And James Harden. That's who my comparison would be. He's a little bit more
6'4",
athletic,
195.
a little more defensive than James Harden. He focuses it on defense, but he's just as solid offensively as James Harden is.
So, the Knicks could very well end up drafting some European we've never heard of with the 2nd overall pick.
I.e. Kristaps Porzingis.
Just a Knick thing to do. We're going to see, but in any case, follow us on Instagram. We'll keep you up to date. Hope you guys enjoyed this draft update. Thank you to our NCAA in-house expert here, showing us the ropes on the NBA draft upcoming. Let's go Knicks.
Pay me.